Hey! Okay, so it's been a while since I've done a silent film critique. This one is one of the shorter ones. I know I need to get into the actual films, but I figure, you know what, this is a Shakespeare piece, so if you like Shakespeare like me. So this was actually a four-part, it was a mutoscope piece. But this is the only one that survived. And it's King John. It was filmed in London, England, September of 1899 at British Mutoscope and Biograph Company. And yeah, made from four very short separate films, each showing a heavily edited scene. And it stars Sir Herbert Beerbohm Tree, who was an English actor and theater manager. I will of course put a link in the description of him. And so it was showing the production of King John with him in it. And the first film was of the temptation scene. The second was the lamentation scene. I know I'm saying that wrong. I will put the names of each one. The third was King John's dying scene, and the fourth was King John's death. The one that survived was King John's death scene. It was produced, and the filming was produced and directed by William Kennedy, Laurie, Dickson, and Walter Pfeffer Dando. And the acting and production design was by Herbert Tree himself. Or wait. Yeah, Herbert Tree. I was crossing names for a second there. The cinematography was by William Dickson. A British film. The production company was, of course, the British Mutoscope and Biograph Company. So far, I have done actually 2 Mutoscope, and this is the second that would have been a series. I know that I said that Sherlock Baffled was the first Mutoscope. It was actually the second. Rip Van Winkle was the first, and that was actually a series as well, because it was actually, I think, 8. I don't remember the actual count, but it was showing Rip Van Winkle with the men in the mountains, and that was, of course, when Joseph Jefferson was very sick. That was like the last time that he wanted to do that. And so anyway, that was the first mutoscope that I critiqued, not realizing, even though it says in the poster that it's mutoscope. And but you know me. But the second one was, of course, Sherlock Baffled, but that's only a one scene thing. It didn't have anything else. This one has the 4 scenes, and I'll of course put the 4 scenes in the description, along with Herbert Beerbohm Tree. I will put his wiki page in the description as well. And it says here there is an incomplete copy of the third film, which was the dying scene. I couldn't find it anywhere, and it's just under 1 minute. So they're probably taking very good care of it. I don't blame them. Whoever has the I Film Institute, Nederland. The last seconds of the scene are missing. Has a film clip of the few frames of the missing part. Okay. Another National Archive has a film clip of a few frames of the missing part. So it's possible that I don't see anywhere here that they are trying to piece it together, but I'm pretty sure that they're trying to, yeah. And actually, there have been several that have been deteriorated and that sort of thing like that. Well, especially, oh, what one was that? The Portrait, that Russian film that I critiqued. And it's supposed to have like 45 minutes, and we only got 8 minutes, which is just devastating because you don't get the full effect of the film. Because I looked up the story, and when you read the story, it's like, man, you wish you could have seen the whole thing of the film. It's just too bad, but it is what it is, you know. There are still frames that there's 4 altogether. There's the temptation scene. There's one for each one, and so these must have been used to, what does it say? Used of the sketch. So these were used to actually promote the show. These were known to scholars. Yeah, these were basically used for promoting and everything. So there's 4 altogether, one for each scene. Now, they have a cast list. I only saw one, and that was the death scene. And I will, of course, put all that information in. And Herbert is, of course, King John. And I will put the other actors and actresses in the description, so that you can, for those of you who are big Shakespeare enthusiasts, you can look it up and see for yourself. And because it's, even, because my brother is an actor, and he's done a few Shakespeare plays, and he's kind of a Shakespeare historian, so this kind of thing really would really interest him. And learning the actors and actresses who were in the play, and learning who came before, and that sort of thing, because when you think about it, they were who inspired, and the circle of life kind of thing. When it comes to the scene itself, because I don't want to make this too long, when it comes to the scene itself, I will, of course, put a link in the description, like I usually do for these smaller clips. It may seem overacted. I mean, he's pretty dramatic, but it's a death scene, and it's on stage. It's what you would expect of a death scene. I am a little devastated that I can't see the other ones, but again, just like with the Portrait, it is what it is. You just have to roll with the punches. And but I am interested in seeing more of his. I'm wondering if there is more of Herbert's work on film. I'll have to look that up, and if there is, I will be critiquing more. And so it was 1899. It was filmed in London, so this is definitely British film. I will have the cast in the description, along with a link to the film, so you can see it. The only one that is actually, as far as I know, I mean, if there's a link to the other one that's like less than a minute, which would be the dying scene, then by all means, put it in the comments so that we can all see it. I would love to see it as well. I just couldn't find it. I'm looking in the wrong place. And I will have the list of the 4 scenes for you as well. And so anyway, this is King John in 1899. The only one that's there's 4 scenes altogether for Mutoscope. The only one that survived is the last scene.